mixin', fixin' for another big game. It's the coach. This is the 2019 season on EA Sports. Coming up, we'll see running back Joe Mixon coming off a 100-yard performance a week ago, as it'll be the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gardner and Charles Davis.
Thanks, Coach. Well, both teams were hoping the rain would vacate the Green Bay area by kick, but alas, it's still falling pretty steadily in and around Lambeau Field. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
Two teams here, each off to 1-0 starts as this one is underway on EA Sports. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line.
Get 180! Round 80! Set the tone, defense. Set the tone, defense. Let's go.
This is Joe Mixon, fourth in the NFL in rushing last season. Only a couple for him there on the game's first play, and it's second down. Quickly now, here's a look at the Green Bay offense.
Out of the backfield is Joe Mixon, and he was a valuable commodity coming out of the University of Oklahoma because of his ability to be so versatile. Can run it inside with power, gets to the perimeter and can outrun people, catches the ball not only out of the backfield, but you can split him out just like he would be a receiver. And I think if he wanted to dedicate himself, he'd be an all-pro kick returner. An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. A draw play for Mixon. Brought down that time by Christian Kirksey. This running game's so important for them, and they know that. It helped lead him to a victory last week when he was over 100 yards.
Let's face it, it's their identity. And that's what they want to play to. They want to be that team that runs the ball really well each and every week. And right now, we're seeing a pretty good pattern of that happening.
That catch good for 5. It's third down.
Even. 4 down. Even.
Third and short yardage, Rivers. And Adams has it, complete. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Big completion there on third and short. Keeps their opening drive alive.
Not only alive, but plenty of possibilities now. 1st and goal, and you know me. I'm a big advocate. If you're going to throw the ball, throw it early in the down and distance.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Olivier Vernon. He's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. First down, a bit of a disaster, and now on 2nd and goal, back even further. Now Joe Mixon. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That backs him up 1 yard and brings up third down. Driven it down the field nicely here on the opening drive, but now it's put up or shut up.
No doubt about it, because to make that type of a drive and ultimately kick a field goal would feel very disappointing. But I'm just wondering, is the head coach thinking, is this 4-down territory? Might he go for it?
They need to reverse the trend. The last 2 plays have gone backwards. Now it's 3rd and goal. From the shotgun, it's Rivers. And that's complete to Adams. And he will reach the 5-yard line before going out of bounds. A big play, but still not enough. Leads to a 4th and goal.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
Gonzalez's kick is good. And the Packers are off to a 3-0 lead. Well, after marching down the field, only getting 3 there, kind of feels like a win for the defense.
And it does. They'll go to the sideline feeling a lot better that they didn't give up a touchdown after the march against them. But if I were the offense, I wouldn't hang my head over that one. That's a good drive, and 3 points were put on the board.
Let's go! Let's go! Mike, 215, 55. And let's pin the mirrors back and go full street.
A carry for Devontae Freeman, who missed most of last season. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the 1st down. Although his reputation as a speedy runner precedes him, it's always fun to watch him work.
It is eye-opening, isn't it? Because when you see him get the ball and just go, in addition to that speed, it helps out his blockers. They don't have to hold blocks for long because he's just going to speed right past them.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Running right, this is Freeman. Calling a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 5.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stop that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
That's good for 9 yards as they convert on the 3rd down play. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports.
Mike 55! Mike 55! Ricky! No time. Gun. 14.
This is Freeman on 1st and 10. Freeman with a fast feet. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on 1st down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
On 2nd down, Freeman. Not much there, maybe a couple as he's taken down at the 40.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
4th down now after a loss of 2. Another example right there how this defense really is winning the entire game at the point of attack.
Yeah, right there at the line of scrimmage, because they are dominating it. It allows their interior guys to get upfield and spill into the backfield. So how are you going to combat that? You know, because they bring in your tight end, keep him in. Your running backs, they have to step forward. Bottom line, your offensive line has to block them first to give yourself a chance.
Remember, last year, Week 5, Gano was good from 63 away to beat the Giants on the final play. This not as critical of a kick or as long, but also not as successful.
You're exactly right about that. I was fortunate enough to be on the call for that game, you know, and me and my crew, we got to see him. And when they lined up, we thought, that's a long way. We know he's got a big leg, and then he hammered it. Probably would have been good up to about 70 yards. And after the game, the head coach Ron Rivera told the media that his special teams coach had told him, hey, he's good up to 65, coach. And each game, that's what the special teams coach does. Evaluates the distance, lets the head coach know.
Yeah, no doubt he's got the leg, but this time couldn't put it through. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. On 3rd down, Rivers. It's caught here by Adams. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the first. Rivers with a 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 6 for 6 here to start the ball game. Rivers to throw it. It's caught by Garcon. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on 1st down. To the air again here, Rivers. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver there, Ian Thomas. And it'll bring up 3rd down. The Packers on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. Well, the other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point. And they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
And his kick is absolutely perfect. And they're able to double their lead in this first half. It's 6-0. So scores on their first 2 possessions, but 6-0, so field goal is probably not what they were hoping for.
Man, you're exactly right about that. Not what they were hoping for, but they should be happy that they have points on the board. It almost feels like that old slow and steady wins the race, doesn't it? In this case, though, they want to be slow and steady now, but get explosive later and put the points up on the board.
We play to win. Let's go!
The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. It hasn't gone particularly well for them, that's obvious. In these conditions, no points so far. They've got to get that offense on track. The question, how do they do it?
It is the age-old question, isn't it? And to me, finding a way to make sure your playmakers touch the ball without it being too exotic. Meaning you don't have to go deep down the field. Maybe you hit them on those short passes on the perimeter. Make sure you just turn around and hand it to your best runner and get out of the way. Don't cause any extra stress on your offense.
2nd and 10 now, Wilson. He's got the connection to Cole Beasley. Second quarter action, 1:56 remaining. A reminder coming up at halftime, we'll head to Orlando. Standing by there, Jonathan Coachman. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL in his 2nd week of the regular season. Wilson. And he finds Beasley complete. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. 12 yards there, 1st down Vikings. On 1st down, Wilson. And all this is taken in one-handed. What a catch. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20.
How did he do that? How did he do it? I mean, in this type of weather, it's not just catching it. It's seeing it coming towards it. Maybe that's why I ended up having to go one-handed. But, boy, what a catch.
That was a spectacular one-handed grab. Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw is Wilson. Gonna throw again. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Vernon Davis. His first touchdown of the new season, as his guys can now take the lead with the extra point.
A good tight end is a heck of a weapon for any quarterback, especially when you're able to create some mismatches. Sometimes they work against a linebacker, sometimes they work against a smaller defensive back. But when they find it, they go to it, and it often results in touchdowns.
So back even at 6 apiece as the kick's away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. Tie ball game, still a little more than a minute to go in the half. The question, can they put something together here, try to take that lead into intermission?
I would have to think that would be the goal for sure. I don't think you sit on anything here. Here's your opportunity. Push it downfield. As you mentioned, it's a tie game. So minus a disaster on your part, you've got that in your back pocket. Go ahead and try and get some points and feel great going into the half.
58, Mike. Let's set a tone, fellas.
Throwing again on second down. Rivers, nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Christian Kirksey coming in hard there on the blitz, and he gets him 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
Mike, 58, right there. 6 man. Check curls, check curls, check curls. Kill.
Not wanting to risk another sack, they'll play it safe with a run. And this effort will not get it done. He stopped well short of the first down at the 29. It'll be a gain of 7, but I'd imagine we'll see the punt team here on 4th down. And likely time for one final play here in the half, so they will go for it on 4th down. And now, due to apparent time constraints, we fast forward to the beginning of the second half. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They have a chance to break our tie here as we get a look at the first drive of quarter 3.
And it's such a tone setter, isn't it? Because both sides trying to seize momentum to begin the half. What do they have dialed up that'll give them an advantage to move the ball downfield?
Let's find out what they have dialed up. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Again, they'll run with Freeman. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher 3rd down looming.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments.
Let's go, Abby. Tell me what you got. What you got, Abby? What you got, Abby? Give me some stuff right there. 25.
On 3rd down, Wilson. Isaiah McKenzie hauling it in. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down.
Hey, man. Where? 14.
They'll throw on 1st down with Wilson. And this one caught by Beasley. A good pickup there, 21 yards.
Some think the teams really won't throw a slant route unless you have a receiver that has a lot of stature to him. But sometimes the little guys, they get lost in there. People can't really locate them, and they run that quick cut on the slant, and oftentimes they can turn it into big plays.
Now throwing on 1st down and completing it. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. A gain of 6 there on 1st. 6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. Throwing again here, Wilson. And he whips that one incomplete there. Trying to get that in the hands of Devontae Freeman that time. And it's 3rd and 4. Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. Again, Wilson being chased out left. He can run for it, and he will. 4 yards there as they let him out of the pocket, and he got enough for the first.
Someone knew exactly where he needed to get to pick up that 1st down now. I'm not so sure about the technique in getting there, but he went for it, and he got it.
Exactly. He knew where he needed to get, because remember, if he slides when that derriere dips, if you will, that play's over.
The derriere dips, I like that one.
Yeah, been working on it for a little bit. That throw good for 4. It's second down.
14.
Looking to throw again on second down. Wilson. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a third down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. Well, the two men come together, and it's incomplete. Excellent work defensively, brings up fourth down. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. So he missed that field goal earlier, but he says not this time. Able to knock it through, give his guys 3.
I like his poise. I like his confidence, his belief in himself. Sometimes when you miss that first one, you see a lot of guys sag and they can't make the next one. Not in this case. Stepped right up like a pro.
Here's the Packers offense now getting set to start off this third quarter. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
On 2nd and 7, Rivers. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Christian Kirksey picks up his second sack of the afternoon.
Come on, QB, come on.
3rd and long for Rivers. He completes it to Boyd. And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a gain of 16 and a first down for the green and gold.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Again, it's Mixon. And he'll go down, and that will do it for the third quarter of action. Back now at Lambeau. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter. And able to find Garcon. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the first. Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. First down, Rivers. Over the middle, that's caught by Adams. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the first. On 1st and 10, Rivers. He gets this one to Boyd. Touchdown, Packers! Tyler Boyd, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And once again, the Packers, they're back out in front.
Everybody likes to see the long ball thrown, but when you throw it underneath and you see someone catch the ball, secure it, make their moves, and then turn it into bigger plays, that's a lot of fun to watch as well.
The point after through the raindrops, up and good. And that will make this a 4-point game. So that drive goes 8 plays. And it ends with a Packers touchdown. This is fielded a couple yards deep. They'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that. They weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick other than the extra point. That's it.
And the trend continues here in the fourth like it was in the first, second, and third. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. But bottom line is, he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Taco Charlton. What a play by him. That's going to go as a loss of 13. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is third and long. Now it's Wilson. Looking deep for Gabriel. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. They were trying to erase that deficit in one play.
They certainly were, but how about the reaction time and the instincts back deep to force the incompletion? We might need to mark this one down. We may look back and say, that was a game-saving play.
He won't go down. Call that 49 yards on the punt. They do get 7 back on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. Right now clinging to a one-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays that are going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs. And the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
20. There he goes, left side. Touchdown, Packers. Joe Mixon, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Packers are able to stretch that lead out further. Heck of a start to his season. He had 2 touchdowns in the opener last week, another one here in week 2.
Well, I don't want to call him a touchdown machine this early, but sometimes you get locked in, and you feel good about things. You get into that zone, and those touchdowns come in bunches. He may be off to that kind of a start.
It's like he was shot out of a cannon. I would imagine success this early, great momentum going forward for the rest of the year.
He keeps this up, they'll soon be chanting MVP anytime he touches the ball.
And now out comes Minnesota. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what. And he lost the football, and the Packers pick it up. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line.
Brandon, I don't want to violate any of our broadcasting rules by declaring a game over before it's over. But that one, that puts them in real jeopardy there.
Absolutely. It was a 2-possession game. It is a 2-possession game at this stage in the fourth. They needed points out of that drive.
And obviously now, no chance at all to get those points that they so desperately needed.
And now, defensively, they're going to burn their first timeout. Remember, they get an extra time built in coming up here shortly at the 2-minute warning. Once again, they run with Mixon, and he'll take it down to the 30-yard line. And this defense here going to burn their second timeout. But you can also factor in another timeout that they'll get when the clock stops at the 2-minute warning. The Packers on third down. They've hit 4 of 7. This time they face a 3rd and 2. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. He loses 4, and it brings up 4th. So now here comes the field goal team for the 3rd time today. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Packer football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And his kick is good. Oh, he just did tuck it into the bottom of that left corner. And that will get the lead up to 14. So they settle for just the 3, but clearly right now anything helps trying to salt this one away in the 4th.
Without a doubt, obviously a touchdown probably would have been the final nail to finish this thing off, but it's still ate up time, got points. So while it's not mission accomplished, it's darn close.
And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. So Russell Wilson in the offense. Down by 2 touchdowns. A minute 53 remaining. It's been a struggle to score all day, and now they need to do it twice here late to have a chance.
Pick it up, guys. Pick it up. That's it. 54, right there.
On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And that's going to be intercepted. It's the all-pro safety, Derwin James. And they will finally get him as he's all the way down near the 40-yard line.
You see me out here? That's
So many times we end a game, and as we're recapping it, we're talking about what offenses did and how they won the game. Let's flip this one over. The defense, they frustrated the offense the entire ball game. That's why they're walking out of here with a victory.
And they're going to love to walk out of here with that as their final act, that interception. Good way for them to end it. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, Packers. Joe Mixon with his 2nd touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And that interception key as it leads to the touchdown. Looking like they're well on their way to a 2-0 start. All smiles right now on that sideline, isn't it?
As well there should be. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. We hear it all the time. We know that it's difficult. But guess who's smiling, but inside is thinking 24-hour rule because we're going to have to play again next week.
Boss man.
Oh, without a doubt. The head coach, he wants them to feel good, but at the same time, find a way to keep improving.
And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line.
Here we go.
Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do.
He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked by Nick Kwiatkowski. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line.
You see me out here? That's right. We can't be stopped.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
Spin 180. Spin 180.
Brings up 2nd and 11.
Single slot.
And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. Officially, it will go as a 1-yard loss, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long.
That's going to be a long day.
So it's all over. A Green Bay victory, and they were buoyed, Charles, by